She said it quietly, almost like she was afraid the words themselves might hurt her more than the pain already had. "I've been hurting for days," the woman whispered, standing in the doorway of the ranch house as the wind pushed dust across the yard and the sky hung low and gray. The rancher had seen pain before: broken bones from bad falls, fever from long winters, the slow ache of hard lives, but something in her eyes stopped him cold, a mix of fear and exhaustion that didn't belong to simple illness. He invited her inside without questions, set her down near the stove, and noticed the way she guarded her side, the way every breath seemed measured. He wasn't a doctor, but years of isolation had taught him enough to know when something was wrong. As he checked her carefully and respectfully, looking for signs of injury, swelling, fever, he realized this wasn't an accident or sickness that came from nature. There were marks that didn't match her story of a fall, bruises too old and too carefully hidden, signs of neglect that told a quieter, darker truth. The rancher's jaw tightened as understanding settled in, heavy as iron. Someone had hurt her, and someone had made sure she stayed silent. Outside, the wind rattled the windows, while inside, the room filled with a dangerous stillness. He wrapped her in a blanket, brought water, and spoke gently, telling her she was safe now, that no one would force her back into pain. When she finally looked up at him, tears slipping free, she didn't ask for revenge, only rest, but the rancher knew rest would have to wait. As the fire crackled and night began to fall, he made a decision that would ripple far beyond his land, one that would expose truths the town had buried for years. If stories about courage, justice, and the Old West draw you in, subscribe to the channel, because this was only the first step toward a reckoning no one expected. Chapter 2. By morning, the rancher had confirmed what his instincts already knew. This wasn't a private tragedy. It was a public crime hidden behind silence and fear. He rode into town early, dust trailing behind him, carrying the weight of what he'd discovered like a storm on his shoulders. People noticed the way he didn't tip his hat, didn't stop to talk, didn't slow his horse. When he reached the sheriff's office, he laid out the truth plainly. No shouting, no dramatics, just facts that couldn't be ignored. The investigation that followed peeled back layers the town had pretended weren't there. A powerful man protected by reputation, neighbors who looked away, warnings dismissed as complaints. The woman stayed at the ranch, healing slowly, learning what safety felt like again. Each day she grew stronger, and with strength came voice. When the truth finally broke open, it shocked everyone, not because it was unbelievable, but because it had been believable all along, and no one wanted to admit it. Justice came not as a single dramatic moment, but as a series of doors closing, arrests, resignations, apologies that came too late. When it was over, the rancher returned home quietly, no applause waiting for him, only the sound of wind through grass and a woman standing on the porch who could finally breathe without fear. She thanked him, not for saving her, but for believing her. He nodded, uncomfortable with praise, and said believing was the easy part, doing something was what mattered. As seasons changed, the ranch remained a place of work and quiet, but something else lived there now too, proof that even in harsh places, decency could still take root. And if this story reminded you that standing up matters, that silence can be broken, and that courage often looks quiet,